You can see the question in print and activity form. Okay, look at here. So here, the given scenario, how you are going to link this scenario with your notes. Key things that you are going to discuss. Number one, what are the audit procedures you know already available in the queue. So now those 6 points you are going to link with this. That's it. This given case. That's the key point you should understand. So what is the first audit procedures? You can refer the queue. What is the first audit procedure? Obtain understanding of nature and act and circumstances. Okay, that's the first point. So write the answer for first one. So here, first of all, you have to understand the nature of transaction. Okay, so transaction has been explained here in the given scenario. So what is the first audit procedures you have to perform? You have to understand the nature of transaction. Okay, so what is the nature of transaction here? You can't just write the nature of transaction. That's the straightforward question. You have to read this scenario and you have to write. Okay, so nature of transaction, write the answer. Number one. Auditor should understand why of transaction යාගේ මුකුත ගොඩක් හිතන්න එපා ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් පර්පස් එක දාලා තියෙන ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් මේ 50 මිලියන් එක මොන ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එකකටද මොකටද දැම්මේ ඒක අන්ඩර්ස්ටෑන්ඩ් කරගන්න. First of all you have to understand why is the auditor should understand why Sarath has invested 50 million rupees has invested 50 million rupees on which investment and by GIP has not get the proper knowledge about Sarath's investment. Sarath investment. In bracket clear करना है again. Proper knowledge के example So source of funds funds. Cost of funds. Fund එක කොහොමද ආවේ කියලා knowledge එක ගන්න හැටි. Okay, so what is the second procedure? Second in the notes. Second amount of currently notes are so you don't need to think beyond the notes. So first one is in the notes, what is audit procedures we have given, understanding the nature of transaction. Second one, obtain further information, additional information to evaluate possible effect on financial statements. Which means first of all, you have to understand the nature of transaction, what is the non-compliance, what is the fraud activity, what is the issue. So you have to understand. Second one, what is the impact on financial statement. So in relation to that, you have to get more information. So for that, write the answer. Auditor should study the transaction. Auditor should study the transaction. Auditor should study the transaction. Should study the transaction in relation to Sarat's investment. In relation to Sarat's investment. Auditor should study the transaction in relation to Sarat's investment and identify non-compliances, identify non-compliances in bracket clear anti-money laundering, anti-money laundering, non-compliance sector, anti-money laundering, foreign exchange, identify the non-compliance. Foreign exchange and laundering. Identify the non-compliances which will affect to financial statements. Such as provisions, fines, penalties, etc. Okay. But the procedure. Discuss with the management and those charging government. Simple. Discuss with the management and board of directors. So what are the things you have to discuss? What are the things? Here you will need to take specifically. Specifically, you don't need to tell any references. Just we can mention. Discuss the transaction. Discuss with the management about this transaction. Example, on which investment he has invested. What are the detailed transactions? He can discuss currently. So right answer. Auditor should discuss with the management. Auditor should discuss with the management. Auditor should discuss with the management. Auditor should discuss with the management on KYC, know your customers, know your customer details. KYC, KYC पे यार, करना KYC ना, KYC, KYC, transaction details, transaction details, amounts, and what are the procedures, that's important, and what are the procedures adopted by the company, what are the procedures adopted by the company, what are the procedures adopted by the company to ensure the compliances, with regard to Bharat's investment, with regard to Bharat's investment. If both the procedure that you both procedure whether any legal advice is needed, auditor should see whether any legal advice is needed. At which, but for in when what's the situation? If management does not give proper support, then we have to get the legal advice in relation to this particular transaction. Okay, so I answer both procedures. If management does not provide sufficient information in relation to Sarat's investment, if management does not provide sufficient information and documents in relation to Sarat's investment, then auditor should obtain legal opinion from legal opinion on legal opinion from legal advisor, legal opinion from legal advisor on, this is the important thing, on monopoly legal opinion done on status of non-compliances, related to particular investment, non-compliances related to particular investment, and company's obligation in relation to this investment. Okay. Fifth one, evaluate effect on auditor's opinion. Sufficient information not obtained. Okay, that also you can write down. That's a fifth procedure. So if you did not receive adequate, sufficient information, appropriate information with regard to this investment and non-compliances, from whom? Management or legal advice. They came on an account. So all you have to take this. The audit, we have a lot of alternative audits. Okay, audit taking, name තමයි කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා කියනවා. Finally, the answer should be only one. Whether as an auditor you are satisfied or not. It's a financial statements again the material figures sticker. Whether you are satisfied or not. Because you are the one giving opinion to the shareholders. These financial statements do not have material statement here. So that financial statement figures do not contain material misstatement කියලා ඔයා satisfy වෙනවද නැද්ද? ඒ ඔයා satisfy වෙනොත් නේ යාට කියන්න පුළුවන්. එතන ඔයා satisfy වෙන්න ඕනේ. So there you must have only one objective, one concern. You must be satisfied. You must be satisfied with audit procedures. Yes, this amount does not have material misstatement. Other audit procedures can okay. That has certain audit procedures. So if one audit procedure does not fulfill the objective, we have alternate audit procedures. Okay. On the example I have then discuss for a bigger, you have to discuss with management and you have to obtain enough information with regard to this issue. Okay. If management does not support, if management does not give adequate information, what is the alternative one? You have to obtain the legal advice. The management දුන්නා කියලා එකපාරට satisfaction නැහැ කියලා කියන්න බෑ. Alternative you have to get. So legal advisor. But legal advisor උත් හරියට කියලා නැත්නම් gray area වගේ තියෙනවා. ඒකිනොත් ඔයාලට satisfied නැත්නම්. So now you don't have any options. You have to think whether any options are there. So that option is also not available means you are helpless. Now you have to evaluate, okay, this non-compliances, whether these non-compliances will cause material misstatement in the financial statement. So if it is not material misstatement, then okay, you don't need to give modified opinion. If this material misstatement, modified opinion should be given. In that modified opinion also, you have to evaluate further modified law acts. Or sorry, okay, if documents given and if you are not satisfied, adverse and qualified. If documents not given means qualified or disclaimer. You have to see which type of audit opinion. So that is the fifth audit procedure. So right answer. If management does not provide, then අතරක් තමයි අහලා තියෙන්නේ. Just doesn't matter exactly. If management does not provide sufficient and appropriate documents and information, if management does not provide sufficient and appropriate information and document related to this case, if management does not provide sufficient and appropriate information and documents related to this case, then auditors should evaluate material misstatement. Auditors should evaluate material misstatement of this transaction. Material misstatement of this transaction. And based on that, audit opinion should be drafted. And based on that, audit opinion should be drafted. Okay, last one. Written representation. If written representation, right answer. Last one. Auditor should obtain. Auditor should obtain. Auditor should obtain. Auditor should obtain written representation from the. Auditor should obtain written representation from the. Auditor should obtain written representation from the. Those charged with governance. From those charged with governance. Those charged with governance now. Directors. Management representation in a directors now. Okay. Those charged with governance in bracket, if you want, just write directors, board of directors. Directors. With regard to compliances, fraud, compliances, fraud, to assess the risk of material misstatement. To assess the risk of material misstatement. Okay, so these are the 6 audit procedures we have to understand about laws and regulations in fraud or non-compliances identified or suspected. Okay, then but an important point here, just we are a minute. So you know the theory. That theory, that's how I am linked. Okay, you know the 6 points that were given in the TU. Now you have to understand that theory and you have to apply to this given situation. Okay, clear? So third question, laws and regulations, same. This is theory. So here you don't need to link to the case. So what we have discussed here, the theory 6 points we have discussed in due taken theory. A due taken theory point sign method before. Answer. Okay. The purpose of auditing standards are 250 consideration of laws and regulations in audit financial statements to establish standards and provide guidance on the auditors' responsibility to consider laws and regulations in audit of financial statements. Question again. Explain how should an auditor respond when non-compliances with laws and regulations is identified or suspected. This is the one with the case we have discussed in second question. This is straightforward theory question. So here you don't need to explain much. Just write those 6 points. But we are discussing the tip. Okay. So that is related to laws and regulations. This one I will take it later. This broad question. Okay. Remote okay. Audit material. Questions you current you are. I got only one answer. One. Make a Matakaran name, straightforward name. Practice answers take a answer. Sadi a second. You don't need to get entire 5 O's out of 5, entire 5 O's, or you don't need to get. But almost 2 months over. The 5 classes are remaining. So you have to try answer scale up through the way. Right. Question audit material. Topic is audit material. Question. BSAA Private Limited. BSAA Private Limited is company which manufactures and sells of furniture. And you are the manager of statutory audit. You are the manager of statutory audit. The following details relating to the audit engagement are extracted from the audit completion memo for the year ended 31st March 2026. The observations below were discussed with CEO and the accountant, but both of them are not willing to adjust. That is the important point. The important point. CEO and accountant, both of them are not willing to adjust. In audit, if you identify any miscellaneous statement and if you communicate to the management, if they rectify, no issue. Okay, because rectified financial statements only you are going to present to the, which means you are going to give the opinion to shareholders. Okay, so then no issues. But if they don't rectify only, problem will come. In this case, you have observed 3 points. All these 3 points have not been accepted by management. So they have not rectified. Now, problem. Clear? The financial statements to be authorized for issue. So, material to be calculated at planning stage 10 million. This is OM the PM. This is OM. Planning stage. Based on average profit after tax. It says OM. Okay. Okay, let's say this OM 10 million now. If you want, you can calculate PM, otherwise, you can go ahead with OM. Subject to question. So you can calculate, let's say 70%. 7 million PM. Because if you want, you can calculate. Both answers are okay. If you want, you can calculate. Otherwise, you can go ahead with the 10 million OM. No issue. Both these answers can be accepted. What are issues? Again, 10 million OM. I have calculated 70%. If you take 60, that also okay. If you take 80, that also okay. Okay. So in this discussion, I have taken 70%, 7 million. Okay, it's 7 million. So now one by one we will discuss about the observations. The depreciation on vehicle was understated by 100,000. In the material below PM. PM means performance material. We don't need to bother about that. Electricity and water bills amount rupees 750,000. Okay. I will give the answer, but this type of questions can be this type of question can be tested in the exam in different methods also. The make of a Buddha angle again discuss I will tell that angle also. After that, I will give the answer. So first one 100,000. No issue. Electricity and water bills amount 750,000. The month of March, last month. Okay, that was not accounted. So that is also problem or not? That's also not problem. Why is not 7.5 million? 750,000. Okay. Vega important. Zero important. That one is zero. 7.5 million here, 750,000 here. You got 7.5 million. If I put 7.5 million, then problem. Okay. 750,000. Okay. No issues. If you add together also no issue. 850. Third one. The investment cost 25 million of the acquisitions of 60% of all shares of ABC Private Limited. Okay, which means PSB company has acquired 60% of shareholding of ABC. Have been considered as an ordinary investment and was shown in the statement of financial position. Okay, the investment cost 25 million of the acquisitions of 60% of ordinary shares of ABC Private Limited have been considered as ordinary investment. What's the problem? So they are easy. They know no problem. I got it correct. Investment cost 25 million. Okay, number 60% acquisition. Okay, clear? But it was shown as just ordinary shares in the financial statements. Method understand karagana. Mono dana no. Accounting standard. Okay. Here, accounting standard dana to degree karna bani. I will tell one thing. If more than 50%, more than 50%, just investment or associates or subsidiary. Then you make उत्तर देने को मैं किसी में एक डिस्कस करना है, एक करना करने पे फाले में देखो किसी में प्रश्न आते हैं, no material, no issue. Okay, third one is issue. That's a problem. I will explain you. I will do the answer. Before that, you have to understand this part now. Number one, how much the percentage of holding? My question, above 50%. What about this one? In normal scenario, if company has 50, more than 50%, above 50, I'm not telling about 50%. 51, that was a problem. Okay, 50 is a problem. Okay, 51, let's say 51. 51% of shareholding in one company, that holding, how we can classify? Subsidiary, associate, or just investment? Subsidiary, okay, because that company has control. Some circumstances are there. Okay, I'm not going to tell those things now. If generally more than 50% ownership is there, means subsidiary. But certain cases, let's say, even though the name came for make a link in by knowledge purpose. Okay, 40, 40, 20. Next the name came for 45, 35, 20. Okay. Now, which company will take subsidiary portion of that particular interest? 51 take scenario, 51. So obviously, you told 51% is more than 50. So two companies or whatever balance 49 key then 51 ownership is with that particular company. So subsidiary. Second scenario, 45% A company, B company has 35%. B company has 20%. Which company will take subsidiary portion? Scenario again. So this is also that's the option. Option means criteria. Controlling power will be determined based on the ownership and director's decision making power. Let's say in the ABC, let's say PQR company here. PQR company A company 45% invested, B company 35% invested, C company 20% invested. Okay, now no any majority of shareholding. Majority shareholding 45, 35, but no more than 50%. Now the problem in PQR director board. Then composition in PQR director board, 5 directors are there. From A company, 3 directors. B company 1 director, C company 1 director. Now whose power is more? A, B, or C? A. So even though 45% is there, director board decision making powers A has more. So on that basis, A is subsidiary. Okay. Otherwise, general scenario, more than 50% means automatically a subsidiary. Here, Associate, I think from 20 to 50. That is also different criteria are there. Now I'm talking about only the percentage. Okay, just like that, based on percentage, we can't say this associate is subsidiary. We have to analyze further. Okay, for knowledge purpose. Assume all others are okay. Just we can decide based on the percentage here. 20 to 50, 49. 20 to 49 associates up to 20, let's say 15%, 10% now. Just investment. Then share marketing or invest 2%, 3% claim on investment in associate killer back, subsidiary killer back, joint venture killer back. Okay. You will show in your finance statement just a share investment, ordinary investment. Okay. Based on if it is PLC company, based on the market value, we will do the adjustments. Okay. So here, this company, PST, but they have done 60% ownership is there, which means subsidiary. Okay, which means subsidiary. Clear? But they have not shown as a subsidiary, they have shown as just in. Clear? So classification problem. Not only classification, other make up here. If consolidation clear, doubt again, okay. Okay, okay, future again. Consolidation exemptions consolidation prepare some circumstances. Okay. Not only the exam purpose, continuously on it. Consolidation important. Consolidation benefit at plus point. Practically consolidation. If you can do the consolidation, that is an additional point for you. When you are going for interview, you will understand. Okay. In your organization, currently working organization, if you have opportunity to do the consolidation, take part that team, just take part. Why when you part? Okay. It involved in only some in net. Okay, structure but opportunity consolidation involved. Okay. If a company has more than 50%, it means subsidiary. That company must prepare consolidation. Unless ultimate parent company prepare karana may own. Exemptions exemption okay. The main situation okay. This company should mention this ABC. Yes, ABC private limited subsidiary. Yeah, in that finance statement they have to show. Further, this company PST should prepare consolidation. Why? ABC is a subsidiary. If they don't prepare consolidation, non-compliance of accounting standards, then it will lead to modified opinion. Clear? So this clear? This question you have been asked to write what are the impacts of these three. That's all. Okay. The first question is theory question. That's not related to this particular case. Second question only related to the particular case. So in the particular case type of question has been asked to write what are the impact. Number one, make a amount of impact. Number two, make an impact of material and other. Number three, what's the impact? That's all you have to write in this question. But keep in your mind, not only because this all are related to one company, not different companies name. So you have to, but in this case, not problem. But when it comes to this type of case, if you face, you have to see cumulative impact also. Okay. Number one, no issue. You take along that transaction, no issue. Let's say number two, 8 million or 6 million. Let's say whatever is 100,000 cases. First issue is 3 million. Okay, 3 million. Material is 7 million. Second issue is 5 million. Okay. So first one, how you should write. If you take along that transaction, no material, no issue. Now you will move on to second one. Second point. Second point misstatement is 5 million. Then 5 million plus 8 million cumulative impact is more than performance material. So now you have to rectify. If they don't rectify, then it will lead to modification. Modified okay. Cumulative impact consider in this case, if you take first and second month, cumulative impact also less than material. Less than SAT, I would say. Sorry, more than SAT, but less than PM. No any impact. Third one only, it will affect to the material statement or opinion. Drafting the opinion, this the third one only will affect. Okay, first two won't affect. Here, so when you receive this type of questions, cumulative impact also you have to consider. Okay, not only individual points, because these are related to one company. You are giving one opinion, not different opinion. So when you are drafting the opinion, cumulative impact also you have to consider. Clear? Now, then audit report is there. එකක් මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඉන්න පුළුවන්. දෙවෙනි එක තමයි cumulative impact එකක් consider කරලා ප්‍රශ්නයක් එන්න පුළුවන්. Third one, by giving this type of examples, what type of audit opinion you will give also can be asked after discussing audit opinion. In exam, 3-4 scenarios will be given, and whether it will lead to qualified or adverse or disclaimer or clean opinion. That type of question also can be asked. Okay. In that time also, now you have to think about cumulative effect. So always, if you receive this type of question, think about cumulative effect. Fortunately, this question, that cumulative effect will not change the answer. But certain cases, cumulative effect will change the answer. Clear? Okay. Right answer for this. Okay, first one we will discuss. After that, we will discuss the A3 one. First one, state 3 reasons why materiality assessment is important for the audit. That is here critical question. Okay, not related to this case. Take 4 questions. State, you have been asked to state. You don't need to explain in detail. If you explain all the same marks, you will get. State also, you will get the same. Take 3 reasons why materiality assessment is important for an audit. Why material is important? I have not given an answer for this in queue, but you can get the answers from the queue then and there. Planning can be discussed. Why planning is important? So part of the planning is material. So those answers also you can use here. So number 1, right answer, material. To assess the risk of material misstatement. To assess the risk of material misstatement. You don't need to explain. Okay, just state to assess the risk of material misstatement. Number 2, to do the proper audit planning. To do the proper audit planning. Do the proper audit planning. Do the proper audit plan. Number 3, to take audit opinion related decision. 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 Part B answer. Part B. That is related to case. Okay. Part B is related to case. Part G, right answer plus 1. The depreciation on vehicle the depreciation on vehicle you should amend like this. The understatement of depreciation on vehicle. Understatement of depreciation of vehicle. Understatement of depreciation on vehicle. Understatement of depreciation on vehicle by 100,000. Understatement of depreciation on vehicle by 100,000 is not material transaction. It's not a material transaction. Not material transaction as it is less than overall materiality level, as it is less than overall materiality level and performance materiality level, as it is less than overall materiality level and performance materiality level. In bracket, performance material level in a bracket in diagram, 10 million into 70%. Performance material bracketing in 10 million into 70%. Answer 7 million. Which means this material mistake, this misstatement is not material because less than 7 million. Okay. Number 2. Right answer. Electricity bill, electricity and water bills. Electricity and water bills amounting to electricity and water bills amounting to rupees 750,000. Electricity and water bills amounting to rupees 750,000 is also less than overall and performance materiality level. Also less than overall and performance materiality level. Then overall and performance materiality level. Okay. Next point, not third point, still behind second point, second issue. If first issue and second issue, if first issue and second issue are added even, if first issue and second issue are added even, not material transactions. Not material transactions. Okay, now third issue, investment issue. Investment in ABC Private Limited. Investment in ABC Private Limited. Investment in ABC Private Limited. Investment in ABC Private Limited has been has been incorrectly recognized as ordinary shares, instead investment on subsidiary. Investment on subsidiary. And first of all, and company did not perform consolidation accounts. And company did not perform consolidation accounts by taking or by considering, ABC Private Limited as subsidiary. And company did not perform consolidation account by considering ABC Private Limited as subsidiary. This is non-compliance of Sri Lanka accounting standards. Non-compliance of Sri Lanka accounting standards. Next point. This classification issue and non-compliance are material statements. Clear? As I told, continuously you may be asked to write what type of opinion should be given by the auditors also. Okay, the material statement make first the disclaimer and then auditor. Emphasis of matter we will discuss in the audit report. After that, we will go to certain questions like that. Emphasis of matter, the other matter, in the pull make up take continue. Okay, discussion. Make a central. So next class we'll discuss this question. It is a straightforward question. This is not a case-based question. Just you have to write the answer by using overall material level and performance material level concept. So I will upload another question set also in relation to audit material this week. Plus this audit risk and audit procedures, how you should write. That is also key question. After you can see, you will be given scenario like a case. From there, you have to pick risk. What are the risks available and what are the audit procedures you have to perform. Audit process we are going to discuss today. So risk we are going to find to mitigate those risks. What are the audit procedures you have to perform. So that angle you have to write the answer. So that type of question also 1 or 2 questions we will do. I will try to do 2 questions. Otherwise, at least 1 question we have to do. And part of the question also there. You can see. So just try write करना लिया था then करना නැත්තම් තේරුමක් නැහැ. ඒ මම ආස්තන එක තේරුමක් නැහැ. You have to try. Okay, now we will go on to the theory. So today up till 3 o'clock class then we will try to finish it off audit questions also. What is the last topic we discussed last class? What was the last topic we discussed? I think under risk response, overall risk response we have discussed. Okay, take it. Overall risk response we have discussed and we have stopped the class last week. So now we are going to discuss So overall responses we discussed already. Overall responses, whether this national level responses we have to discuss now. Okay, you have chapter 7 duty internal control. That was not the perfect. Yes. Perfect. You know, last topper monkey like here. Perfect. Not perfect. This internal control, see, we have discussed in same queue, it's same notes, environment and control environment, these things are there. I'm not going to discuss these things in detail. Okay, already we discussed it. I will discuss, but not in detail manner. Okay, I will discuss, not in detail manner, but most important thing. This part, listen. Internal control, listen. Internal control, the first semester, because today we are going to discuss about national level procedures. Okay, national level risk response. So there are, what are the two types of national level risk responses? DOC, substantive. Substantive, I will take separate. The method is the first level limit. Practical audit procedures, specific audit procedures specific areas audit procedure audit procedures will be discussed in this stage from below. First level like inspection, intangible assets, specifically PP na mono audit procedures. Inventory na mono other. Inventory cut off the mono other. Inventory valuation mono other. Eva discuss. Okay. So this test of control, listen carefully. Listen carefully. Try not here. For a key enough back. Time 25 classes mass discuss audit. Just 3 months. Test of control, substantive procedures. In detailed manner, we are going to discuss. These things we have not discussed in. I don't remember in the first semester whether I have given the one diagram, but anyway, in detailed manner we are going to discuss. Okay. So carefully listen. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay. When we are discussing this test of control, okay, I want to take this internal control chapter. That's why I have taken this chapter as seventh chapter. Okay. But I think six topics are there in internal control. The first semester we have discussed 2 few things. Those areas I'm not going to discuss here. Most important, I have included main 3 topics I have included, but we have discussed in first semester. Number 1, objective of internal audits. Number 2, components of internal audits. These types, elements, okay. Already you discussed it. Those questions also I'm not going to ask you. Knowledge purpose only you have to take. So whoever 19 minutes, so I will share the internal control view which we have discussed in first semester. Okay, for your knowledge purpose. Whatever included in dispute only, I will ask for this semester. Knowledge purpose I will share because all the internal control notes I am not taking here. From there, I have taken only 3 topics. 3 or 4 topics I have taken. Number 1, objective, that is important. Number 2, components. Number 3, limitation. These 3. First topic, how internal control will help to auditors. That angle only we have to focus here more. Yes, that is the one we are going to discuss under test of control. Okay. Before that, okay, I will because otherwise this link product out. Okay. Test of control test of control discuss करना so in detail we are going to discuss. Test of control discuss करना कोड़ा make it. That's why internal control and statutory audit. Okay. Control का audit taking test करना control नहीं होता same. But key things are there that I want to emphasize here. Those key points I will give you the short notes. I'm not going to discuss immediately this one. Short notes I can discuss another again. Okay. Make a discuss करना today का time होता है today का discuss करना make a time. Breaking our inner limitations objective. Quickly shall we discuss that and shall we come here? This test of control. Test of control means last class outside. Remember I told you test of control means why controls are important. Okay, because auditor has been given 2 options. One is substantive procedure, another one is test of control. Because what is our final objective? We should be satisfied. No any material statement here. A objective path test of control substantive. A large organization making controls rely on final objective. There is no any material mistake. So if company has strong control, then we can believe some extent, okay, this company has strong controls. Because of that, fraud or errors cannot be. Less transactions can be happened. Fraud and errors. Okay, fraud or errors cannot be happen. Because of that, material misstatements will not be generated. A and getting a bit of conclusion. Then we will do limited substantive audits. Okay, If that's substantive audit process, we will do. Clear? So that is the important part, the audit procedure. So that test of controls current company again controls TNO. Okay, company again controls TNO. Thanks to A controls we then discuss. Before discussing the controls, I want to take this internal control general topics. Okay, so now we are in overall responses because our link at matter. Okay, take a test of control discuss internal control check. Okay, so this response is stop. Overall, this response is already discussed. That is isolated one, independent one, no issue. When it comes to test of control, controls we have to discuss first. Okay. Later, we will come to that audit and internal control. How these internal controls will help to auditing. Clear? So, take chapter 7. After that, we will come back to chapter 6, last part. Okay. Chapter 7, we are confused when adding. Chapter 7 again, clear part we discuss what is meant by internal control, what is meant by components, and what are the limitations of internal control. We will discuss that part and we will come again test of them. Okay. For internal control, I will quickly go through. I don't take too much time because already discussing semester 1. So each 3 points I am going to discuss.
Thank you.
Internal controls. Internal controls, number 1, first topic, general thing, objectives. Okay, objectives. So what are internal controls you know when it comes to operation point of view? What are internal controls? Few examples you can say. I told, preparing the document itself, internal control. Okay, you take sales, the sales quotation you will send, you will receive the purchase order or sales order or customer order you will receive. Based on that, you will dispatch the goods with the dispatch note. And that dispatch note, you will get the signature. Whose signature? Customer signature. Once you get, once you get the customer signature, then you will send the invoice. That's a request for settlement. Okay. And credit notes you will pass if you have any returns. And at the time of settlement, you will raise the receipts. So these are the general steps in the sales. Again, so if I ask examples of internal control, you will say, okay, approval of this person, authorize of this person, checking of this person, revealing this person. Even after anything, controls here and payments approval, receipts approval, PP acquisition approval. So if anyone asks you, tell me few examples of internal controls, then immediately you will tell these are the examples: approval, checking, revealing. Yes, that's correct. Those are also internal controls. But you must remember, if you want to check something, if you want to review something, first of all, the document must be prepared. Report the check current, and that check current, payment also like report the approval. So from here onwards, you should keep in your mind important point that particular document preparation itself, internal control will start. Okay. Further, you will strengthen the internal controls. So some organization, okay, let's say payment voucher. Okay, payment vouchers, payment cycle, payment vouchers. Payment vouchers, prepared person signature should be there, check person, review person, and approve person. Some organization, this check person space will not be there. Directly prepared and approved. So that is also internal control. This is also internal control. But here 3 persons involvement is there. Here only 2 persons involvement are there. So compared to this and this internal control is most strength. So that's why I'm telling. Preparation of document itself internal control. Okay, those internal controls can be strengthened further by adding some internal controls like reviewing and proving. Okay, clear? So why these internal controls are implemented in the organization? That's the important thing. Yeah. Internal controls implement current molecular, nothing implement current and so if organization wants to implement internal control, that organization should incur some cost. Without incurring cost, they can't implement internal control. If organization willing to implement internal control by incurring the cost means they expect some return. Okay. So what are those returns? Those returns called objectives. Okay. Those objectives, number one, enhance financial and financial reporting of the organization. The generate finance, what is the return they may expect? Number one, by implementing internal control, financial reporting, financial statements. Okay, financial statements should reflect correct reliability. Okay, how? Let's say if you don't implement internal control, what will happen? We'll take a payment procedures. Okay, payment procedure. Let's take if you don't implement internal control. One internal control example I can give. Finance manager must approve the transactions more than 50,000. Okay, finance manager should give this approval. If that internal control is not there in the organization, what will happen? Frauds and errors can be happen. If one person does not check means prepared person can involve in the fraud or the prepared person can involve prepared person can make mistakes. Let's say 100,000 the payment. Instead of 100,000, actual amount is 100,000. Instead of 100,000, finance manager checking control is not there. So instead of 100,000, particular account assistant has generated 120,000 payments. And he has made also. In the books of accounts, how much it will be reflected? 120, but actual cost is 100. So financial reporting has not given correct amount. So if you want to enhance the reliability of financial reporting, you must have proper internal controls. Okay, that's number one. Number two, enhance efficiency and effectiveness of business operation. Business operation. Business operation. What's meant by this? Not only financial reporting, not only financial aspect. If you run the business in effective manner, business operation. Okay, for that also you should have an internal control. And one more thing I want to tell you, what it means by internal control. Okay, we are now discussing what are the returns will be taken by the company by implementing internal control. We are discussing now that those returns called objectives. Okay, if organization can achieve something through implementing the internal control, those things can be classified as objectives. Okay, fine. What is meant by internal control? Simple definition. If you want to reduce one risk by doing one activity, that is called internal control. Okay, you have this. If you don't do that activity, you will have a risk. Okay, so now you want to reduce that risk. If you want to reduce that risk, you have to do something. That's something called internal control. For example, if you don't put password and username for your online banking, you will face one risk. So you will you will put one password and username. That is called internal control. Okay. So whatever activities you are performing, or organization is performing to reduce the risk, those will come under internal control. That is simple payment explanation. Okay. So number one, what is the objective? We have to enhance the reliability. So for that, I have given the example. This finance manager, if he doesn't approve, what will happen? Error or fraud might be happening. Then it will reflect to the financial statements. Second one, business operation. Enhance efficiency and effectiveness of business operation. Not only for financial reporting. Okay, not only for financial reporting. Okay. Okay. Then specific silently after break, internal control test of control. Okay. Full day 3 business operation effectiveness. Not only for financial related transactions, non-financial related transactions also can be considered as internal control. For example, distribution companies, okay, or manufacturing companies. Manufacturing companies are strong, important asset. Let's say two scenarios. Number one, manufacturing company. Number two, distribution company. Distribution company is unknown. Explanation is known. Manufacturing company is a local asset. Distribution company is a local asset. Okay, that is correct. Manufacturing company. Distribution company. Vehicles. Okay. Sales internal control. If you don't do sales at regulator, what will happen? Personal vehicle, motorcycle, sales it will cause unwanted problem. Sales repair cost. Repair cost take a risk. So protect from that risk. You are doing regular services. So that is also internal control. So those type of internal controls are coming under this object. Okay, clear? Third one, so those type of internal controls will enhance business operation. So let's say if you don't do proper sales for your vehicles, distribution companies, the vehicle sales goods that cost will come to your company. Okay, on time, if you can't deliver the items to the customer, then customer dissatisfaction may arise. So problem may come. So, to avoid those type of things, this objective to catch. Number 3. Ensure compliance of laws and regulations. Ensure compliance of laws and regulations. What are examples? Medical related companies, if they want to manufacture medical medicines, that laws and regulations should be compliant. Then langani me news app ka danane fights the over here hospitals. Thought that somewhere around 15 days back. the other 18, 19, 15 days back, ඔක්කොම leading මේවා තිබුණානේ in news එකේ. Hospitals got fines them 100,000 expired which medicines තිබ්බා කියලා. So that is also coming under this one. Okay. If too many non-compliance are there means it will affect to the operations. Okay. So food manufacturing or food processing company should comply the hygiene related compliances. Banks should comply central banks guide rules and regulations. Medicine related companies should comply their rules and regulations. So if they don't comply, what will happen? Going concern of that operation will be the problem. Okay. So to ensure the compliances, if that is also listening, to protect from those risks, if companies implement any internal controls, those internal controls will come under this category. Okay. So these are the main three objectives of internal control. If you take one specific internal control, that internal control will have an intended objective, specific objective. Internal control, not internal control, each and every process we may tell 30-50 internal controls. Okay. So in the organization, if you take internal controls, 100 internal controls are there, each and every process. So those internal controls, specific internal controls, have specific intended objective. Okay, then finance manager approval objective. Then GRN raise purchase process GRN raise internal objective. Dispatch note sales objective. Dispatch note customer signature objective. So likewise, each and every internal control has specific intended objective. So those intended objectives can be classified one of these many objectives. Okay. So intended objectives each and every internal control has different objectives. So those entire, let's say 100 objectives are there, 100 internal controls, for example, 100 internal controls are there, 100 objectives are there. Okay. Those 100 objectives can be classified out of this one main objective. That's the point. Okay, so we'll have a short break, 10 minutes. After that, we will continue internal controls.